Have you ever felt lonely even when surrounded by people? Loneliness is just not about being alone. It is a complex emotional state that has a profound impact on our brain and our body. Research has shown that loneliness is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day and increases 50% risk of early death. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. And today I'm going to deep dive into loneliness concept, and I'm going to fill you with the data around UK and global, and also discuss in depth on the neuroscience concept of loneliness and give you some ways to heal from loneliness and find ways to make a meaningful connection with yourself and with others around you. Before I could go any further, if you have not already done, please do hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified on my weekly content. So any further ado, let's jump into the video. In UK, 1 in 4 people experience loneliness some of the time, and 5% of them experience chronic loneliness, equating to about 3 million people. A study by Mental Health Foundation confirmed people who are feeling lonely has a 40% chance of getting into a depression. And if we look into the global data, the World Health Organization confirms 264 million people have depression, towards which loneliness contributes significant amount of the depression. And wait, there is more. Loneliness adds to the risk of suicide, and people in the age groups of adolescents and older adults are committing suicide due to loneliness. Now, let's dive into the neuroscience of loneliness. Loneliness is not just a feeling, but it has a profound basis in our brain structure and function. So, understanding the neuroscience will give us some light in depth of the psychological impact it has on us so that we can find ways to combat the psychological impacts. Did you know that loneliness activates specific regions in our brain associated with distress and social pain? When you feel lonely, the brain's alarm system activates, similar to the physical pain. Several key structures inside our brain is involved in the experience of loneliness. The first one is the anterior cingulate cortex, ACC. The ACC is involved in the emotional aspect of pain. Studies show increased activity in ACC during experience of social rejection and loneliness mirrors the brain's response to physical pain. And the second structure is the amygdala, which processes emotions and threat response and is more active in lonely individuals. This heightened activity can increase feelings of fear and anxiety in social situations. And the third structure is our prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for decision making and social behavior, which shows a reduced activity in lonely people. This can impair social interactions and increase feelings of isolation. Now, let's talk about the psychological impact of loneliness. Loneliness can actually increase the anxiety and depression due to the activation of those structures, which I've discussed earlier. The chronic stress of feeling lonely activates the intrusive negative thoughts and emotional instability. So your sympathetic system is hyperactive all the time, and your parasympathetic system is inactive, which is the calm and digest system. Interestingly, the research has also confirmed that people having a higher loneliness experience would set them to cognitive decline, like Alzheimer's disease and dementia. And loneliness is also associated with the sleep disturbances due to the heightened anxiety and intrusive thoughts, negative thoughts, and people feel they are not able to fall asleep or stay continuously in sleep, or mood swings is another consequence of loneliness. And loneliness doesn't stop with psychological impact, it also impacts our physical health. Research has shown that loneliness is linked to 29% of increased risk of coronary heart disease and 32% increased risk of stroke. In UK, Public Health England reports that people having loneliness experience has a higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease. In UK, over 1 million older adults say that they feel often or always lonely. And from the global report, WHO reports that over 20% of adults over age of 60 suffer from mental or neurological disorder, which is significantly linked with loneliness. In UK, 40% of 16 to 24 years old report feeling lonely, often or sometimes. Internationally, loneliness in adolescence is linked to a high risk of depression, anxiety, and even suicidal thoughts. So, addressing loneliness requires a multifaceted approach, combining the mental health support, community engagement, and fostering social connections. Research studies have shown that loneliness can alter the brain function over time, creating a vicious cycle As loneliness changes the brain activity, it becomes harder for individuals to engage socially and it perpetuates a sense of isolation. So, addressing loneliness involves both understanding its neural basis and applying the psychological strategies to break the cycle. Familiar psychological strategies known in UK and widely used around is cognitive behavioral therapy. It helps individuals to identify and challenge negative thoughts about themselves and others, promoting healthier social interaction and reducing feelings of loneliness. Another popularly used concept is mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness practices can reduce stress and improve emotional regulation, helping individuals feel more connected and less isolated. And finally, but very important concept is social engagement. A meta-analysis of 148 studies involving over 300,000 participants globally found that stronger social relationships improve the likelihood of survival by 50%. So, encouraging participation in community activities and fostering meaningful connections, social connections, can combat the neural and psychological effects of loneliness. So, by understanding the neuroscience of loneliness and employing effective psychological strategies, we can mitigate its impact and foster a more connected and healthy society. Loneliness is a serious health condition, so reach out, connect, and support each other. As usual, stay curious, stay healthy. Signing off, Devi Sundar.